I'm standing in my wedding dress, fingers shaking against the chipped paint of the garden door. I peek through the crack and see rows of white chairs lined up on the green lawn, almost perfect, except for those two empty seats in the front row. Satin ribbons. Little bunches of lilies. Those seats belong to my parents, or at least they should. Behind me, guests shuffle around, their whispers rising and spreading like ripples in a pond. Where are parents? Did something happen? Weren't they just running late? The string quartet wraps up their song, the last note hanging in the air unanswered. I squeeze my eyes shut, fighting the tears. Not now. Not with all this makeup I spent forever on. Riley. I hear Leo's voice, quiet but steady, and it stops me from spiraling. I turn. He's there, looking sharp in his charcoal suit, green eyes full of concern, and something like anger he's trying hard to hide. He takes my hand, his thumb tracing circles on my skin. They're not coming, are they? I force a smile, but it feels brittle. Let's not keep everyone waiting. The truth is, I'm not as shocked as I should be. I've spent my life trying to earn their approval. Always second to Sasha, the golden child, her face everywhere, magazines, family photos, the center of every story. I remember being 16, coming home with the news that I'd won the state computer science competition. My dad didn't even look up from his newspaper. "That's nice, sweetheart," he said. Then, almost right away, he called out to my mom, "Lydia, did you see Sasha's new Vogue feature? They put it above the fireplace." I glanced over. My sister's perfect smile in a shining frame. My certificate? Stuffed in a drawer. Maybe if I'm perfect today, they'll see me. That's the thought that always sneaks in, no matter how many times I try to let it go. Even now, part of me keeps hoping they'll barge in at the last minute, apologizing, some explanation ready. But deep down, I know better. They won't. Leo's dad comes over, boutonniere pinned neatly on his jacket, eyes kind but not full of pity. "Everything's ready when you are," he says, gentle. I nod, take a breath. Leo squeezes my hand once before heading to the altar. Mrs. Hayes, my almost mother-in-law, drifts over to fix a flower in my hair, her touch soft. She was up all night arranging flowers herself, making sure the dessert table had my favorites, treating me like I belonged from the very start. "You look beautiful, Riley," she whispers. Really beautiful. The wedding march starts. The garden doors open. All 70 guests stand, turning to watch me walk down the aisle alone. No dad by my side, no mom dabbing her eyes. Just Leo waiting at the end, smiling that smile that makes me feel seen, finally. The ceremony rushes by. Suddenly, we're married, kissing as everyone cheers. We turn to face the crowd, hand in hand. For a second, I almost forget about those empty chairs. Then the reception starts. "Ladies and gentlemen," the DJ says, "it's time for the father-daughter dance." The words hit me hard. I freeze, champagne glass halfway up, as the spotlight sweeps the room, searching for a dance that isn't happening. Silence settles over the tables, 100 sympathetic faces I don't want to see. Then Leo's dad steps up, hand outstretched. "May I have this honor, Riley?" His kindness nearly undoes me. I take his hand. He leads me to the dance floor, and as we sway, I catch people watching, some wiping away tears, some just smiling. "Thank you," I whisper, still trying to hold it together. "Family isn't always blood," he says, twirling me gently. The night goes on. Cake, toasts, laughter. I almost lose myself in it, until I feel my phone buzzing in the pocket of my dress. I slip away and check. 3 messages from Sasha. The last one reads, "Mom and Dad are devastated you didn't make sure they got invitations. How could you forget your own parents?" Something cold settles in my stomach. I stare at the words until they blur. They're lying. I sent the invitations myself, double-checked the tracking, confirmed delivery. This isn't about me. It never was. It's about how things look, not about who's actually happy. It hits me all at once, sharp, impossible to ignore. I turn off my phone, shove it into my pocket, and head back to the reception. Everywhere I go, I hear people talking about Sasha. My Aunt Diane whispers to my cousin, "Remember Riley's high school graduation? They left early because Sasha had that callback." Someone else nearby mutters, Lydia and Robert care more about appearances than people. Always have. Poor girl. Imagine not showing up to your daughter's wedding. I sense Leo before I see him. His hand finds mine like he always knows where I am. He doesn't ask if I'm okay. He just looks at me and says, ready to get out of here, and nods toward the door where our car is waiting. I glance around at all of it, the celebration, his family who welcomed me like I belonged, the friends who actually showed up, the garden where I became Mrs. Hayes even though the front row had empty seats. Yeah, I say. Something inside me shifts, call it resolve. Rose petals rain down as we run to our future, and I make myself a promise. This is the last time I'll wait for people who never intended to show up. Now I'm in our kitchen in Portland, staring down at my phone. Maui's glow has faded, my tan's already gone. It's been 3 weeks since the wedding, and I haven't heard a word from my parents. Finally, I work up the nerve to call. You forgot to invite us, Mom snaps. Her voice is cold, sharp. We never got the invitation, Riley. My hand shakes as I open my laptop. That's not true. I sent both email and paper invites. I have the receipts. Don't be dramatic, she says, the old dismissal landing just as hard after all these years. I pull up proof, the email confirmation, the exact time. You opened it on March 12th at 9:47 a.m. Dad even replied, thanks for letting us know. Silence. Then she tries, well, sometimes these systems make mistakes. I show her the tracking info for the physical invitation, delivered March 10th. Maybe we didn't feel welcome, she says, her voice flipping from cold to hurt so fast it's almost impressive. You know how busy we are with Sasha's career taking off. Maybe you didn't make it clear how important this was. That's when it clicks. They're not protecting me. They're protecting themselves, their image. They chose to skip my wedding and now they're rewriting the story to pin it on me. You're always so dramatic, she adds, as if I haven't heard it 1,000 times. I can't do this. I have to go, I say, ending the call before she can twist the knife again. I sit at the counter, scrolling through old texts. It's all so clear now. Mom guilt-tripping me if I mention the wedding. Dad dodging, always needing to check the calendar. Silence as the date got closer. Then Sasha's text the night before, make sure you take photos with Dad's side. They're important for when I launch my brand. Not a single word about me. Not one bit of happiness for my marriage. Right on cue, my phone buzzes. Sasha this time, Mom is crying because of your call. Why do you always have to upset everyone? Another message follows. Some relatives are asking about the wedding. You need to tell them you forgot to send invitations to Mom and Dad. I don't need this drama with my wedding coming up. My fingers hover over the keyboard. Of course, her wedding. They couldn't be at mine because it would make hers seem less special. Her fiancé proposed last month. They timed their engagement announcement for right after my honeymoon. Dad's email lands next. Your mother is very hurt by your accusations. Family loyalty means supporting each other, not attacking. Think about Sasha's wedding plans. It's perfect. They're all in sync. Mom wielding guilt, Sasha keeping up appearances, Dad backing them both and pretending he's just being reasonable. I look around at our apartment, at the wedding photos we just hung. Leo and me laughing with his parents, dancing with his dad, cutting the cake with friends all around. There's real joy in those pictures. But there's something missing too. My family's absence is loud, impossible to crop out. 32 years I've spent chasing approval that was never coming. Tears spill down my face as I stare at one photo, me in my wedding dress, glancing over my shoulder, trying to smile, heartbreak hidden just beneath the surface. I don't even hear Leo come in. I only notice him when he kneels next to me, his hand warm and steady on my knee. What do you need? He asks, just like that. There's concern in his green eyes, and something about the way he says it cracks me open a little. Not, what's wrong? Not, why are you crying? Just, what do you need? Like my needs matter, for once. I need to stop pretending they care about my happiness, I say. My voice doesn't even shake. He just nods. No cliché comfort, no trying to fix it. He just sits there, present. I wipe my face and open a new document on my laptop. I'm making a record, every invitation, every tracking number, every text, every email. Date by date. I build a timeline, line by line. Each call, every message, every response. The pattern's right there, deliberate avoidance, then gaslighting when confronted. What will you do with it? Leo asks, handing me a mug of tea. I'm going to tell the truth. That's it. Not with anger, just with clarity. I write the email. I attach the files, no commentary, just the facts. My message is short. Mom and Dad, I've attached documentation showing you received both electronic and physical invitations to our wedding. You chose not to come. I'm not pretending otherwise. This isn't about blame. It's about being honest so we can move forward if you even want to. Riley. I hit send before I can talk myself out of it. 10 minutes later, my phone rings. Not my parents, Mrs. Hayes. I saw what you wrote to them, she says, no small talk. Sasha copied me, thought I'd be horrified by your attack on family. My stomach twists. Mrs. Hayes, I start, but she cuts me off, gentle. I'm proud of you. Standing up for yourself isn't attacking anyone. It's about time someone in that family valued truth over keeping up appearances. And just like that, her words warm me from the inside. Leo sits next to me, shoulder pressed against mine. Your truth matters more than their comfort, he says, quiet. I lean into him. I feel lighter. The next day at work, a coworker tells me I seem different. More focused, grounded. I realize I haven't checked my phone for messages from my parents all morning. It's a small thing, but it feels huge. For once, I'm not waiting for people who never plan to show up. 3 days later, my phone buzzes for the 3rd time in an hour. I know who it is before I look, but I check anyway. Sasha, you can't ruin my wedding just because you're insecure. Mom and Dad are heartbroken. Fix this. I put the phone face down and try to focus on my code. Usually, programming calms me, but today my fingers tremble over the keyboard. Everything okay? My coworker glances over, worried. Family stuff, I say, and even to me it sounds empty. The phone lights up again. Not Sasha, Aunt Diane. Riley. Honey. Your mother called me in tears. She says you're refusing to admit you forgot their invitation. Can't you just apologize for the mix-up? I close my eyes. I can picture Mom on the phone, voice trembling just the right amount, spinning her story to anyone who'll listen. It burns behind my eyelids. When I get home, Leo's already there. His face darkens when he sees me. Your dad sent me an email, he says, turning his laptop to me. Apparently, I need to understand the importance of family loyalty. I read Robert's message. Every word drips with guilt. As Riley's husband, you should help her see reason. Family is all we have. Her behavior is causing your mother-in-law immense pain. They've been calling everyone, I say, flopping onto the couch. 3 cousins left messages today. Even Jess from high school somehow got pulled in. Leo sits beside me. He's warm, but my stomach's in knot. They're escalating because you're not playing along anymore. My phone buzzes again, unknown number. Riley, it's Sasha. Since you blocked me, I had to use Derek's phone. Stop being childish. I hang up. The calls keep coming. Different numbers, always Sasha's voice. I finally turn my phone off. The silence feels like a breath of fresh air. You know what's weird? I say later, eating takeout with Leo at our kitchen counter. I keep waiting to feel guilty, but I'm just calm. Like I finally see them for who they are. Leo nods, thinking. What changed? I pause, fork in midair. I think it's realizing I have options they can't take away. I gesture around our place. My job pays $87,500 a year. I have proof they're lying. I have you now. For the first time, I don't need their approval just to breathe. When my phone wakes up in the morning, I see 17 new messages. One jumps out right away, from Leo. Check your email. Sasha texted me. The message she sent him? It makes my blood boil. You should help Riley behave better. Networking with successful family could benefit your career. Then Leo's reply shows up right underneath. I only care about Riley's happiness, not her networking value. That's it. The anger shifts and pride wells up instead. Here's a man who sees me as a person, not some pawn in their family game. He stands up for me without thinking twice. Sasha's replies pile up, getting more desperate each time. This is ridiculous. She's tearing apart the family. Our mother is devastated. Your loyalty should be to family harmony, not enabling her tantrums. After the fifth message, Leo's done. We're blocking this number. Don't contact us again. He looks up from his phone. I blocked her. Hope that's okay. More than okay, I say, and it's like a heavy stone just rolled off my chest. It's perfect. That night, Leo's mom calls. My stomach goes tight, ready for more drama. Riley, honey. I got the strangest text from your sister. Her voice is calm, but I can tell she's worried. Something about your psychological instability? I'm forwarding it to you now. The screenshot arrives with a note from Mrs. Hayes. Garbage. You and Leo come over for my meatloaf tonight. Dinner at the Hayes house feels like I've stepped through a portal. No one's tiptoeing around, no barbed comments, no secret competitions. Just real conversation, people who actually want to hear about my life, and enough meatloaf to last a week. More potatoes, Riley? Mr. Hayes hands me the bowl before I even ask. I heard you got that new project at work, the security system design, right? Just that simple bit, someone noticing my work, hits me hard. My parents never even tried. Mrs. Hayes leans in. Tell us more about it. Leo says you're leading the team now. I start talking. They listen, really listen. They ask questions. Nobody glances at the clock or changes the subject to someone more important. They treat me like I matter. Is this what family feels like? 2 days later, my phone rings. Aunt Diane. Riley, I wanted to talk to you about Sasha's wedding. Your mother says you left them out of yours, and now you're refusing to come to Sasha's out of spite. I take a breath. Aunt Diane, I have the invitation receipts. Want to see them? Silence. What receipts? Email confirmations, they opened the digital invite. Postal tracking for the paper invitation. Texts where I checked in. My voice stays steady while I attach everything to an email. Sending them now. The sharp breath on the line tells me she's looking. Oh, Riley, they told everyone you forgot. No, Aunt Diane. They chose not to come. Same way they've always chosen Sasha over me. More silence. I'll be damned, Lydia swore to me. I believe you, Riley. I'm sorry. That night, I make a group message with every family member who's reached out about this drama. I attach all the evidence, delivery confirmations, opened emails, the whole thing. No explanations. My phone blows up within hours. I had no idea, Riley. Your mother told us a different story. We're not going to Sasha's wedding. Lydia and Robert owe you an apology. I sit on our balcony, watching Portland's lights flicker over the river as the messages keep coming. Leo steps outside and hands me a mug of tea. You okay? Another text pops up. Sasha, somehow with a new number. What have you done? 3 aunts and Uncle Jim just canceled. Mom is hysterical. For the first time since our wedding, I feel a real smile. Not so much happy, more like free. The truth is finally leaking through all their careful lies. I didn't do anything, I tell Leo, leaning into his shoulder. I just stopped pretending. A new notification appears. Sasha's wedding postponed due to venue issues. I don't need to be a software engineer to figure that one out. I sip my tea and watch as my parents' facade crumbles, all by itself. My phone buzzes again. Sasha, for the 3rd time today. I let it go dark on my desk. Rain taps my office window, soft and steady, drowning out the hum of computers. 3 months have gone by since I sent that email to everyone. 3 months. Not a word. I didn't think I'd last that long, honestly, but here we are. Riley? My supervisor, Jared, shows up at my cubicle, manila folder in hand. The Henderson proposal looks great, he says. The execs loved your fixes for the security issues. I can't help but smile. That quiet, warm pride settles in. Thanks, Jared. I wanted every weak spot covered before we moved forward. He nods. It worked. They want you as lead developer for the next phase. He puts the folder on my desk. Oh, and an 18% raise. Congrats. He's gone before I can say anything else. Inside the folder, there it is, my offer letter. The promotion I've chased for a year and a half. My fingers hover over the new salary, $103,250. It's not just validation. The timing feels like proof. Proof that cutting myself off from the family chaos finally let me focus on what actually matters, on building something real. My phone buzzes. Leo, dinner with Jake and Sarah tonight? They found some new trail up near Multnomah Falls. Want to hear about it? My reply is instant. Perfect. Got the promotion. He replies so fast it feels like he was waiting. Never doubted it. Celebration dinner. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Some people are genuinely happy for you. Others only reach out when they need something. Sasha's call comes in a minute later. I don't even hesitate. Silence. That night, over wine and plans for weekend hikes, something inside me shifts. My parents' disappointment used to feel like a dull ache I could never escape. Now, it's just background noise there, but not in charge anymore. Coding puzzles, laughter, Leo's ridiculous stories. Peace, not from forgiving, but from choosing where to put my energy. Next morning, my office phone rings. The one no one ever calls. Software development, this is Riley Hayes. Riley. My mother, sounding worn out and sharp all at once. Why haven't you answered our calls? Your father and I are worried sick. I sit up straighter, glance at my closed door. I'm at work, Mom. Can't talk now. Well, when can you? This has gone on long enough. Your sister's wedding is in 3 weeks. There are problems with the guest list. People are declining because of this situation. She tries to load me up with guilt, but it just doesn't stick. That's not on me. Of course it is. You're tearing the family apart. Your father's devastated. Her voice cracks, but I know the script by now. He sent you an email. Did you read it? I didn't. Just saw the subject, family obligations and responsibilities, and filed it with the others. I'll look at it later. I need to get back to work. You can't just, goodbye, Mom. I hang up, surprised how little it rattles me. I check my email. There's a message from Aunt Diane. Riley, just wanted you to know Sasha's wedding is postponed. Venue issues officially. But really? Half the guests declined after what happened with your wedding. I'm one of them. I should have stood up for you sooner. Sorry it took me this long. If you ever want to talk, I'm here. Love, Aunt Diane. That night, in therapy, I mention it. Sitting across from Dr. Warner, staring at her little fern on the windowsill. Why don't I feel anything about their wedding drama? Shouldn't I? Vindication, at least? Or sadness? Something. Dr. Warner looks at me. Sounds like emotional detachment, a way to protect yourself after years of having your feelings dismissed. What have you realized since we started talking? I think for a second. I was never the problem, I say. Just inconvenient. The quiet, practical daughter who didn't fit their perfect picture. Nothing I did would have made a difference. And knowing that? It's freeing. Like I've been dragging around this weight, convinced if I just tried harder, they'd finally see me. But that was never going to happen. Walking out, the spring air feels soft, like an arm around my shoulders. I finally get it. Walking away isn't weakness. Sometimes it's the only way to stay whole when people refuse to see you. Peace holds for 16 days. Then another voicemail. Mom again, voice thick with tears. Riley, please. You're breaking your father's heart. Sasha had to postpone again. People are asking questions we can't answer. Call us back, sweetheart. We can work this out as a family. I delete the voicemail and open my laptop instead. There's an email from Sasha, subject line, wedding announcement photos. She's attached a handful of images. I can't help myself. I click. Sasha and her fiancé stand in a garden, stone path winding behind them, roses climbing trellises, everything in hazy focus. The lighting, the colors, even the backdrop, they've copied our wedding down to the tiniest detail. Under the photos, Sasha's message is short. What do you think? Mom says these turned out better than yours. I close the laptop. Don't reply. 2 days later, a certified letter shows up from Dad. Even before I open it, I recognize the stiff handwriting. Riley, your continued silence is unacceptable. As your father, I demand an explanation in person. Whatever imagined slight you believe we've committed doesn't justify tearing this family apart during what should be a joyful time. Your behavior has affected Sasha's special day significantly. The least you can do is meet with us to discuss your return to the family before more damage is done. Your mother, and I expect to hear from you within the week. Dad. I stack these messages together, a record of years, finally visible on paper. The last attempt comes a week before Sasha's new wedding date. Cream-colored envelope, a check for $1,500, and a note in Sasha's handwriting. For your dress and travel expenses. Mom and Dad will tell everyone you had scheduling conflicts before. Please just show up and smile for pictures. For the family image, S. I stare at the check. Strangely, I feel calm. This is it. They've laid it all out. I'm not wanted for myself, only for the illusion of family they can parade around. That night, I write a note on my own stationery, slip it into an envelope with Sasha's check. My presence isn't for sale. Riley. Leo drops the envelope in the mailbox and squeezes my hand. You okay? He asks. Better than okay, I say. And it's true. Word gets out fast. Aunt Diane calls. She tells me Mom's sister finally confronted her after years of letting it slide. Sasha's fiancé has started asking questions, real ones, after seeing her unravel over my silence. Now they're fighting each other. Aunt Diane says, Lydia's blaming Robert for letting it get this far. Sasha's furious at both of them for ruining her plans. It's like watching a house of cards collapse. Are you still going to the wedding? I ask. No, honey, some things matter more than putting on a show. Her voice softens. I should have learned that ages ago. I hang up. There's no gloating, no satisfaction. Just this sense that I'm finally where I belong, building a life that isn't measured by how well I fit into someone else's story. Sasha's wedding invitation sits on my counter, gold lettering glinting in the morning. 3 days left, and the pressure's relentless. My phone buzzes. It's Lydia again. Third message today. Riley, please, just show up. We'll forget all this. Sasha needs her sister there. I set the phone face down, jaw tight. Yesterday, another aunt called, started off chatting, but soon, your mother asked me to talk to you. The day before, Robert left a voicemail offering to walk both his daughters down the aisle, like that could rewrite the fact that he skipped mine. Even Sasha texted last week. Your absence would be cruel to everyone who loves us both. Don't punish the whole family. Cruel. Like I'm the villain here. Doorbell. Courier. Envelope from my father's law firm. Inside, a letter, stiff and cold. Consider how family connections benefit your career. The tech industry values networking. Sasha's fiancé's family has connections that could help you advance. Burning bridges now could have long-term consequences. No attempt to hide the threat. I crumple the paper and toss it in the recycling. My laptop pings, email from Sasha. Subject line, my side of the story. The preview says, I've drafted a post explaining why my sister abandoned our family before I share it publicly. I slam the laptop shut. My heart won't slow down. When did they get so desperate? My phone buzzes again, a cousin I barely know. Your mom says we need to choose sides. This is tearing everyone apart. An hour later, Lydia herself calls. I answer the phone, even though I know I shouldn't. It's Riley. Her voice is strained, trying hard to sound calm. This has gone on long enough. Come to the wedding, or you're not part of this family anymore. The irony stings so much it's almost funny. When have they ever treated me like family? She hangs up before I can say anything. That night, I dig out the old family photo albums. There's Sasha at her 16th birthday, blowing out candles while I stand half out of frame. Another photo from my college graduation. My parents left early because Sasha had a modeling callback. This pattern runs through every chapter of my life. Leo finds me surrounded by albums. You okay? He asks. Am I being too harsh? My voice sounds small, even to me. He sits down next to me and gently takes a photo from my hands. It's from our wedding, rows of empty chairs where my family should have been. They skipped our wedding, Riley. Actions have consequences. I nod, slow and heavy. I know he's right. Still, I can't shake this urge to protect them, to smooth things over. I've spent my whole life putting their feelings first. At the cost of your own dignity, Leo says, quiet but firm. That hits hard, the truth of it just sits there between us. Every holiday, every small victory, every time I bit my tongue, always for Sasha, always for the sake of peace. My comfort, my pride, always sacrificed. I close the albums and pull out my laptop. I spend hours gathering everything: the wedding invitation receipt, delivery confirmation, screenshots of the 14 times I reached out before our wedding. Even the emails where my parents claimed they never got an invitation. By midnight, I have a timeline. Just facts. No anger. I write an email to the entire family. To my extended family, there's been confusion about my absence from Sasha's wedding. I've attached documentation of what happened with my own wedding. You'll find tracking confirmation of my parents' invitation, the email receipt showing they opened the digital invite, screenshots of my 14 attempts to contact them, and their claims they never received anything. I won't be at Sasha's wedding. This isn't punishment, it's consequence. I wish Sasha a beautiful day. My absence is the result of choices made 8 months ago. Sincerely, Riley Hayes. I hit send before I can second-guess myself. When I tell Leo what I've done, he asks, "So, what do you want to do on Sasha's wedding day?" For the first time in days, I smile. Let's hike Olympic National Park. I've always wanted to go. On the wedding day, we stand on top of Hurricane Ridge. The mountains stretch out in front of us, endless and wild. My new phone vibrates. Only Leo's family and a few close friends have the number. It's a message from Lydia's sister with a photo attached. Sasha's reception looks half empty. Family missing. Your mother is furious. Half the family didn't show up. They're saying they never got invitations. Sound familiar? I don't feel vindicated. I just feel relief. Finally, the truth is out there. Over the next few days, more messages come in. Relatives apologize for believing my parents' side. My cousin sends screenshots from the family group chat, everyone arguing about Lydia and Robert. The whole story has changed. I'm not carrying this alone anymore. A week after her honeymoon, Sasha calls from an unknown number. "How could you?" she yells. "You've turned everyone against us." "I didn't turn anyone against you," I say. I sound calm, almost detached. I just showed them the truth. "You can't ruin my wedding and expect me at yours," she spits. The irony is so thick I almost choke on it. "That's exactly what you and our parents did to me, Sasha." "It's different," she shouts, her voice cracking. "They always loved me more. Why is everyone taking your side now?" There it is. The thing I always knew but never heard out loud. "It's not about sides," I say soft. "It's about the truth. I don't need their approval anymore. Do you?" She pauses, silent for a long time, before hanging up. I look out at the Portland skyline, and for the first time in my life, I feel lighter. Like I can finally breathe. Almost 2 years later, I hold my 6-month-old son close, his warm little body heavy against my chest. His steady breathing is the best sound I know. Sunlight spills into our Olympia living room, and Leo sits cross-legged on the floor, sorting photos for the baby album. This is what family feels like. Finally. "Look at this one," he says, holding up a picture of Mrs. Hayes, my son's only grandmother, cradling him the day we brought him home. Her eyes have that same steady, unconditional love she's given me since the beginning. I run my fingers over my son's soft hair. "She's coming over tomorrow, right?" I ask. "Wouldn't miss it for anything," Leo says. "She promised to bring that apple pie you've been craving. You won't find any portraits of Lydia or Robert on our walls. Not a hint of Sasha's perfect smile. Instead, it's the family we built, Leo's parents, friends from my support group, coworkers who turned into confidants. The people who show up when it actually matters, not just when it's easy." My phone buzzes on the side table. I shift the baby to reach for it, expecting a work text about yesterday's software launch. Instead, an unknown number lights up, and for a second, my stomach drops. Then I read the message, and the feeling melts away like sugar in coffee. "Riley, I know you had a son. You cannot be this cruel. You cannot keep a grandchild from his grandmother. This is wrong. Call me Lydia." 2 years ago, a message like that would have wrecked me. I'd have spiraled into guilt, read it a dozen times, drafted careful replies in my head, measuring every word, bracing for her disappointment. Now, I just feel a kind of calm. Relief, even. "Your mother?" Leo asks, catching the look on my face. He doesn't have to say which one. I nod, turning the screen so he can see. Using my cousin's phone. Same tricks, same words, you cannot, you should not, you must. Once, those commands had power over me. Now they sound as empty as lines from a bad play. My worth isn't tangled up in their approval anymore. My happiness isn't held hostage by their moods. My therapist called it emotional neglect back when I first tried to explain my childhood. That was the first time I heard the words for it, the kind of love that always dangled just out of reach, always tied to someone else's definition of good enough. The support group helped too. Different faces, different stories, but the same old wounds. They showed me I wasn't alone. But honestly, it's this life with Leo that changed everything. He listens without ever doubting me. When old anxieties creep in, he's just there, solid and steady. Jessica from accounting pulled me aside yesterday, I tell Leo, shifting our son as he squirms. Her parents are trying to guilt her into moving back home. What did you say? Leo asks, setting the photos aside. I told her you can love someone and still need space. Boundaries aren't punishment, they're protection. The words just came out. No bitterness, no edge. Just truth. I've found meaning in helping others through what I survived, paying forward the support that got me here. I look down at my son, peaceful in sleep, and for the first time I really see what unconditional love looks like. Not a transaction. Not a performance. Just a gift, no strings attached. My thumb hovers over the block button for maybe a second, then I press it. No guilt, no need to explain or justify. I set the phone down and press my lips to my son's forehead, breathing him in. When I look up, Leo's watching me. His eyes say everything, he gets it. He doesn't ask if I'm sure or need me to explain. He just smiles. That's enough. Our son lies safe between us, shielded from the old patterns we've both promised to end. This is family now. Not obligation. Not blood. Just love and the freedom that comes from finally choosing it.